Hey everybody, Daniel Carfix, and what I plan on doing today is to service me and my gorgeous wife's truck differentials and transfer case. So I got synthetic rear axle fluid. This is a 75W140, and I'm following the latest recommendation on the rare differential fluid for the F150s. Mine is a 2015. I've got Mercon LV, which is the latest recommended fluid. I know Ford keeps changing the recommendation constantly, but this is the Mercon LV, which is the same automatic transmission fluid is what you're supposed to use in a transfer case today. And I've got 80W90 lubricant for the front differential. And I also have this gasket. This is a LubeLocker. This is a dry gasket. It does not require sealant. I'm not a great fan of sealant in the differential or in anywhere. So I'm going to try this out. It's a little bit more expensive, but what the heck? Why not? But anyway, I might not do everything today, so I might end up doing the front differential and the transfer case fluid first, and then maybe in a different video another day do the rear differential fluid, since I'm going to have to get the cover off, clean it out. It's just a little bit more work. So let's get to this. And for those of you who don't know my channel, I'm not a professional mechanic. I'm not a technician. I'm none of that. I'm just a DIYer. I like to do stuff on my vehicles, on me and my wife's truck, on our bike, and some other vehicles in my garage. And I got this truck used, and I don't know exactly how it was used. It's got the max tow capacity package, and it was sold in Canada. And harsh weather conditions, probably they did a lot of towing with this truck. So I like to do preventative maintenance and just change out the fluids ahead of time. It's just something I like doing. I know some might not think it's a good thing, maybe a waste of money. What the heck? Well, let me tell you how much I spent. This was a little bit more expensive. It was 20 bucks, but you can get a paper gasket for $5-6, and maybe you can get no gasket and just get the gasket maker and just apply it directly to the cover. But the lubricant fluid for the rear axle, I got it at a local parts store, and it was half the price off of Amazon or eBay. So these were like 16 bucks. I'll leave the link. I already had the Mercon LV when I changed the transmission fluid, and these were like 5 bucks at the local parts store. So it's not a huge investment for preventative maintenance that may keep the truck going maybe 200, 250, 300,000 miles, who knows. I baby my vehicles. I like to do that. That's it. So let's start with the process. Okay, I've got my setup here, so I'm going to start with the transfer case. So I'm going to get the Mercon LV. I got a oil pan and a 1/2-inch breaker bar with a 3/4 adapter. So I'm going to loosen the fill plug first. Of course, if it doesn't come off, if there's any issue, then you loosen the drain plug and you drain all the fluid from the transfer case, and then you can't fill it back again. So you got to start with the fill plug, and then I'm just going to loosen the drain plug, drain the transmission fluid. It's supposed to be 1.5 quarts, so this should be enough. It's got, I don't know, you can't see, but it's got 8 quarts or 6 quarts. So let's get underneath the truck. I did not raise the truck. I'm just going to work with it leveled on the ground. So let's get underneath. So this is a transfer case, obviously. and the bottom plug is going to be your drain plug, and your top plug is your fill plug. So I'm just going to try to loosen this with the breaker bar, if I can fit it. Alright, so I had to get my regular ratchet because the breaker bar is just too long to fit under the truck without the truck being lifted. Of course, if this were in an elevator, I wouldn't have a problem, but if I had an elevator, I'd be more than just a DIYer. So, let's try to break this loose, and it's not breaking, so I got my plan B, which is my rubber hammer. So let me try to get this not coming out with the extension. Let me just shove this in there and get the hammer. Yep, okay, so it's loose. Okay, now that we've loosened the fill plug, let's go ahead and loosen the drain plug. Okay, so this was, it took significantly less effort. Let me get the oil pan and place the oil pan right underneath. I got the oil pan. And alright, unscrewing it, and it's coming out, as you can see. Let's wait for this to drain. Okay, so I cleaned off the drain plug. It is magnetic, so I checked the plug for any, excessive material due to break-in, but there was hardly any. So I got to assume there was a soft use for this 4x4 system. So I'm just going to get wire brush, just going to clean the threads because it seems to have quite a bit of thread locker here. It's just going to go with some brake thinner here. Used a wire brush to just get the old thread locker out of the threads. So it's nice-ish. Okay, so I'm going to put some more thread locker in and just torque this in place. Alright, so now that we've drained all the fluid, I'm just going to clean with some shop towel the threads. I got thread locker in the drain plug. I'm just going to screw it in by hand and tighten it. To be honest, I don't know the torque spec on this. I will check it out and share it with you, but I don't think, this is aluminum. It's just got to be snug. I don't think you have to go overboard with the torque in these plugs. Now that we got our drain plug in, let's remove the fill plug. I think I can unscrew this by hand at this point, at this stage. Can I? No, I can't. Let me... Yep, now I can get it by hand the rest of the way. Alright, so I got that Mercon LV set up here. And I got one of these quart pumps. And I'm just going to, stick this in here and start filling up with Mercon LV fluid. This takes a while, folks. I've done it for the transmission and pumping 6 quarts, I think it was 6.5 quarts of automatic transmission fluid by hand was not fun. It took me a long time. But this is just 1.5. So no big deal. Alright, so I just started pumping the final half quart. So let's see if it starts dripping out of the fill plug, or the fill hole, actually. Okay, as you can see, it started to drip. It's starting to come out. Just going to put the rest here because it was a half quart that I had in there. Okay, yeah, so it's starting to drip. So it's at the right level now. Okay, all right. Now we're going to go in with the plug. Let me get the plug. Alright, so I'm just going to clean this out, let it drip. You know, I did let it drip for a while. Clean it out. I got the plug with the thread locker. I'm just going to manually thread it in. So 17 foot-pounds of torque, not a lot of torque. Okay, so, everything is filled up, so I'm just going to clean these, and that's it. There's not much to, you know, changing the fluid out of the transfer case. Now, let's go to the front differential and see if that's more fun to do than this.